Welcome back to Magpie Talkback Radio. It is a little bit later than usual. The Talkback radio station had a little bit of the break up on the Gold Coast. Couldn't get into my studio, but we are here now, here to hear your thoughts. That's exactly what I said. Here to hear your thoughts after the Gold Coast game where the Pies lost by 6 points. Let's start it first with an anonymous. You know it's going to be a good session when you got anonymous call up first up.
Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding.
I think I think that's the Gold Coast theme song there. So I told you we're in for a good session when it's when it's anonymous first up. All right, next we've got Pindu. How you going, mate?
Hey, Sue. Pindu here. Don't know what to say. Especially like the first half. Oh my, I don't even know what I was watching. Honestly, we had like opportunities to kick a goal, but we missed. But credit to Collingwood, fourth quarter, we came strong.
Yep.
Came back from like 40 points down. But footy is a game about momentum. Like if Dan McStay kicked that goal and Ned Long kicked that goal, we would have won. But having said that, we definitely came back and thrived to win under Craig and Craig. Like we're not losers, but we have to, at the end of the day, stand with each other. And then on to next week. Like we have a 9-day break, so hopefully we get players back. Apart from that, mixed emotions, honestly. Catch you later, Soup.
Yeah, Pasindu, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, mate. It is all about momentum. You know, that McStay miss from 50 metres out, he usually just smashes those ones in, and then that Ned Long miss, and just a really weird game. It was a really weird game. But to play a quarter and a half of football and nearly win after not kicking a goal for over an hour is actually, I don't know, it says a lot about the team. So imagine we can play 4 quarters worth of football. But you're right. Craig McRae always says, don't act like losers, even if you are losing. And there was a lot of positives to come out of a game like that, which is really weird to say. All right. The next guy, we've got Dimmer Hardwick himself calling up, apparently.
Hey. Hello, Swoopy. Bad luck tonight, mate. You get him next week.
Dimmer, thank you, mate. I do really appreciate the call and appreciate the condolences. We will get Fremantle this week, 100%. All right, Ryan Douglas.
I reckon Pendles should have started on the ground.
Yep.
We had someone else as a sub. As soon as Pendles comes in, we start doing magic. You give me Pendles throughout the whole game, we maybe win by 6 points, or we lose by a point. Not gonna lie.
Ryan, yeah, that's a really good point, and I'm in two minds about this. Like, I know we need to sort of rest him, older body. I understand that, but should we be relying on a 37-year-old to win us games? Like, I know if Pendles is there, you use him 100%. Do we need to rely on him though? Was it a mixture of Pendles coming on and us just happening to play well, or was Pendles the pivotal turning point in general? I probably would have liked to see Pendles start and then come off if he needed a rest, as opposed to starting as the sub straight up. All right, Hyphen.
Okay, what up? It's the Hyphen. Hope you're good, Swoop.
Hey, bro.
Hope the journey was good. Hope your time in Queensland is good. First things first, I can't take anything away from Gold Coast. I thought that the way they played, it would have been a robbery if we won that. Don't get me wrong, I would have been joyously celebrating if we won that. But I don't know, it just felt like fitting in. Josh's fourth quarter was crazy. I know 100 people are going to come on here and say that. And I hope there are 100 people that send messages. Yeah, to our credit, the fact that we can only play quarter and a half and still come that close. The fact that we can
Yeah.
keep their score so low in a loss, like there's a lot of positives to take from this. Yeah, we just weren't firing.
Yep.
We started horrifically. I can write it off as a bad day. But I've got to give credit to Gold Coast. They played a great game. Yeah, the woes at whatever their ground's called, People's First, is that them? I don't know.
That's the one. That's
I
the
don't
one.
pay enough attention to them. Yeah, they're a really good side there, and they deserve to play finals this year. But you know what it is: flag pies, side by side, all that good stuff. Whoa.
Thank you, mate. As always, I really appreciate you. Always bring a smile to my face, bud. Yeah, look, you're right. We can't not take credit away from the Suns. For them to keep us goalless for over an hour is incredible. And it wasn't just like they just kept us goalless and they were still not playing good football. They were playing incredible football, and their foot came off the gas a little bit, and then we sort of come harder right at the end there. But no, you're right. Look, we won't have to play Gold Coast at People First Stadium again, which is nice. We only leave Melbourne once in the next 7 or 8 weeks or whatever it may be. So I'm really keen for that, mate. But yeah, it was definitely a weird game. But thank you for calling in. There isn't 100 people, but there was more than last week, which is always nice. Jack, how you going, Jack?
Yeah, a bit of an interesting game. Felt like turning it off at half time, to be honest.
Yeah, interesting.
0 goals 10 at one stage. Pretty bad, but to be fair, with all the things that have gone on during the week with the club, sickness, even the outs still, it's a decent effort. I mean, we had nothing to play for. Still 6 points clear on top. They were playing for essentially to lock in for a final spot, so no, wasn't too bad. Good effort during the second half. Had our chances late to even win the game, but it's what it is.
Nah, Jack, 100% right, mate. It is what it is. Like, you're right. We had chances to win it at the end. And, you know, I talked to a lot of Collingwood supporters just in general, but I talked to a lot of Collingwood supporters before this game and the couple of weeks leading up to this game. And everyone pretty much said this is probably the game that we're going to drop. This one in Adelaide, which happened to be both away games. Gold Coast really wanted to show themselves up on the big Friday night stage, and that's fair enough. And we were just stuck on the plane for a half of football. Like, what can you do? I don't blame you for turning it off halfway through. I know a lot of people did, but just nearly bloody pinched it right at the end. All right, Shadowfex. Okay, Shadowfex. All right, Jono.
What's going on, Swoopy? I hope you're doing well,
Hey, mate.
mate. After that heartbreaking loss, I just wanted to come in here and touch on one thing or a couple of things. So, first of all, that first half was not Collingwood's. Second of all, the second half was Collingwood's, but there was still a few things where we stuffed up on. If you rewatch that Noah Anderson goal in the last quarter, the way we set up was just, I reckon that was not Collingwood's. No one was on the defensive sides of Noah Anderson, so I saw that come in. We still had time to get over the line, but unfortunately, Gold Coast just picked up their pressure again. But we can't be dropping many more games like that. The next 2 weeks pretty easy, but 3-4 weeks we have Brisbane and Hawthorn.
Yep.
Tough games there. I know it's at the MCG, but if we want to hold on to that minor premiership and be at the top of the ladder to get that home final, we can't be dropping games like that. And we certainly cannot be playing like we did in the first half. That was disgusting. But move on to next week, like Craig McRae said. There's some stuff that we don't want to talk about, especially as supporters, and just move on to next week. So up the Maggies, let's go.
Yeah, look, mate, you're right. That Noah Anderson goal, I've seen it about 100 times. No one set up on that defensive side. You know, people are criticizing Nick and stuff. Nick was just waiting for Darcy Cameron to get hand on the ball. If Darcy Cameron gets hand on the ball, hits that to Nick. Nick's often running like Noah Anderson was. But Jared Witts gets on top, hits it behind, and Noah Anderson, you know, the rest is sort of history. Not much we can do. We went for that attacking, you know, that sort of all-out hope in that last bit. Noah Anderson gets it. We still had like, 7, 8 or so minutes to kick a winning score, but just couldn't bloody do it at the end. It is what it is. It's a lesson. The thing I love about that loss is we can get so many lessons out of it, and one of the lessons is don't kick 10 behinds before you score a goal. Bloody hell. All right, another anonymous call.
All that matters is we're still on top.
That's it. We are still on top. If you've seen that video, always good fun. Okay, Kaden. Kaden is up next.
Swoop. What a game.
Yep.
Look, there's. I definitely think there's a couple of things that we need to work on. Look, set shots just wasn't good enough at all. But look, I'm proud of the boys. We had a great second half. It was definitely a game of two halves.
Yeah. Yep.
Josh Dacos, I mean, that was probably one of the best last quarters, or just best quarters of football from one player.
Yeah.
That I've seen in quite a while. That was really great to watch. It was a really unfortunate finish, but look, we didn't win every game in 2023, and maybe it's for a reason. I think, in a weird way, I think losing this game might be a good thing for us to kind of be able to take that step back and go, okay, we need to improve on this, and this, and, to become a better team as such. But can't argue, Gold Coast definitely put up a great fight for us. It's a very unfortunate first quarter. But congratulations to the Gold Coast, really. But unfortunate finish, but happy for the boys. Unfortunate finish, but just proud of the boys. Can't complain there. Cheers.
No, mate. Again, all you people that are calling, hitting the nail on the head, hitting the absolute nail on the head. Even the person at the start that was doing the Gold Coast theme song. Yeah, Kaden. No, you're 100% right, mate. Sometimes you need a loss like this to kind of look, okay, this, and this we've been getting away with. We didn't get away with it this week. How do we fix it going into the rest of the year? And like you said, in 2023, remember, we lost back-to-back games, Carlton and Hawthorn. And Carlton, we probably, they were sort of up there, thereabouts. Hawthorn, we definitely shouldn't have lost because they were down the bottom of the ladder, and they come up and sort of shake us up, and we go on and do, we can have some lessons from that loss. And I think this Gold Coast loss is going to be one of those really big lessons. Lily, I know Lily is usually the Jamie Elliott girl, so let's see.
All right, I know what you're expecting. Jamie Elliott, period. But I also gotta say, Josh Dacos, period. Oh my god, what the shit? He is the GOAT. But also, Jamie Elliott, period.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I love that. I love that little segue into that call. And then Lily, thank you so much. Yeah, exactly like Kaden said. Josh Dacos was just absolutely incredible and a little bit of a secret weapon going forward. We love this. All right, we've got a handful of callers coming up. Anonymous, another anonymous.
Hey, Swoop, just want to start off by saying, congratulations on the 40,000 followers on Instagram.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. Love all the content that you provide. It's so insightful, and I just love listening to you every week. So yeah, mate, keep up the great work.
Thank you, mate.
Want to talk a little bit about the game. I do think it was a game of two halves. Obviously, the first half was very disappointing, but you could really see the game shift probably midway through the second quarter, even though we didn't kick one in that second term. And it just goes to show that when we switch on, we can really be dangerous. And I think there's positive things to come with our players out. We've still got, hopefully, DeGoey to come back, Frampton, McCreary, Howe is injured. And then we're also missing Myercheck as well, and Lipinski. So I think there's positive things to come. I think as well, obviously there were a few players that, didn't perform great, like Ned Long and Sullivan, but, we've got to stick by them. You're not going to play well every week.
Yep.
And I think at the end of the day, it's not bad if we drop a game here or there before finals. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season, and yeah, go Pies.
Mate, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the kind words at the start as well. You do make a really good point. Like I even forgot, and it's Tuesday. I'm recording this on Tuesday now, but I even forgot that Myercheck and Lipinski weren't playing against the Suns. Lipinski, our best user going forward, and in the AFL, the best user going forward as kicks inside 450 that leads to scores. And then Brody Myercheck, an absolute workhorse in the forward line. You play Mason Cox, and Mason Cox doesn't kick the ball, didn't kick a goal either. Did take some good marks and did a lot around the ground stuff, so I appreciate that work effort. But yeah, you really see what happens without Myercheck and the kicks inside 50 without Lipinski. Who would have thought 6 to 8 weeks ago, we'd be sitting here saying Lipinski is such an integral part of this team. And I was watching him at training today, and he's just hitting targets left, right, and center. So, yeah, you're 100% right. We've got lots of players to come back in. I wouldn't worry too much, and I'm actually not worried. And from the Pie supporters that I am talking to, they're not worried about this loss too much either. But we'll see what happens against Fremantle this week. All right, Jaden. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Swoop, Luke. Bit shit when we lose,
Yeah.
Even when it's 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a bit shit. I mean, how privileged are we losing by 6 points? And we're still 6 points clear.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, because Josh Dacos, man, come on. I think that I think we definitely can't be risking not playing Pendlebury.
Yep.
For the rest of the year. If you're gonna rest him, you're gonna rest him in a game where it's against Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't run that risk of not having an on-field coach for the whole game. You know what I mean? Like he came on in that second half, and the game changed completely. It's insane. Ned Long, too many free kicks gave away, just too many. Nick needs to pass instead of just going for goal for no reason. Steel side bottom is winning the Brownlow, even though he hasn't polled in probably 10 weeks. I just, he'll be up there. All right. Bye, Swoop. Love you.
Jaden, love you too, mate. Thank you so much for calling in. Yeah, you bring up a couple of good points. Like Pendlebury, you're right. I didn't even think about that Richmond game coming up. That's probably the game that you dropping for. In saying that, not to take Richmond lightly, right? They're doing really well. But again, that's probably the one that you look at and go, okay, this is the game that we're going to rest you for and just have a week off. Just have a week off or whatever it may be. Have a half, whatever, right? Now, because he's had half that game against the Suns, you expect him to play fully against that Richmond side and play out the full game. Touch wood, barring any injuries. Yeah, so that's a good shout. It should have been that Richmond game that he had that rest on. But again, like I said earlier on in this video, it should have been he started on and then came off. But again, with that Jeremy Howe injury, what does that sort of look like if Pendlebury, stayed on? He had to play the full game. Does it mean that he would have missed a Fremantle game? I know it's semantics, but yeah, you just can't help to think that if Pendles maybe started on, or if we didn't rest Myercheck or Lipinski, do we go on and win that? But again, it all comes down to kicking 0 goals 10 before we kick the goal. That's literally part and parcel. If you don't kick a goal for a half of football, it's going to be pretty bloody hard to win a game. Let me tell you that much. Gary.
Hey, Swoop, it's Gary.
All right.
Yeah, that performance in the first half was so bad.
Yep.
Like 8 behinds in the first half. Like we couldn't kick straight.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like that first half was so bad, and then we nearly won it in the last quarter, and then Dan McStay in front of goals and he missed.
I know.
It was easy. easy
Yep.
in front, he could have kicked it. I mean, maybe we could have won it, but it just wasn't our night.
Yep.
But we should bounce back next week against Freo, I reckon. Hope so. And then the week after that, we got Richmond, which that should be an easy one. And then the week after that, we got the Lions, which that'll be a tough one.
Cool.
But yeah, after that, first half, so bad. We should not do that again.
No.
So probably next year, when we take on the Suns, we don't do that again.
Yeah.
We should be better. All right. Stay sweet. Go Pies.
Gary, thank you so much for calling. Let me tell you a little bit about this call from Gary. Is he messaged me, and Gary, I hope you don't mind me telling this, mate, but he messaged me the night of the night that we lost, and he's like, "Luke, I'm too upset. It was a shit performance. I'm not going to leave a voicemail because I'm just like, what can I say? We just played bad, and I'm just really upset at the result." But so Gary, thank you so much for calling in, mate. I always appreciate you calling in. This is probably, you've called in every single week since we've done this, and I know a couple of other people have as well. But yeah, shout out to all you guys. But Gary, mate, that outlook we got what you said, Fremantle, bloody Richmond, and then what, Brisbane and Hawthorn, or Hawthorn Brisbane. We've had it rough this year. We've had it rough this year, but we'll do okay if we start kicking goals. That's the crux of it, mate. We'll do okay. Thanks for calling in. All right, last few now. Nick.
Swoop, Luke, you gorgeous little nugget. I'm not concerned at all. Everybody's freaking out, but let's state facts. We played half a game last night and still only lost by 1 goal. Mm-hmm. And the Suns had everything to play for last night, and this was definitely the Gold Coast Suns' first grand final. And they were phenomenal.
Yep.
So, well done to them. I can't take anything away from them. Losing Howe sucked. Mm-hmm. That made us down 2 of our best defenders overall. And when we decided to show up in the second half, we kept the Suns to less goals in the second half than the first.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Yep.
Anyway, no need to stress. I have no doubt that the illness running through the team might have still been lingering or something.
Yeah.
Quick note about the umpiring. I don't like being one of those guys, but I hear the AFL met with the Suns during the week about the lack of free kicks that Rao got last week against Setterfield.
Yep.
And then he gets a whole bunch tonight, like a whole bunch, with a couple of them leading to goals. So read into it however you like. But I'll finish with this. Darcy Moore, best on ground, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And holy Josh Dacos.
How did he get the beeps?
We have another Dacos in the middle. The entire competition should be shaking in their boots.
What just happened? How did he get the beeps? How did he sound like Lucifer himself? Nick. What? That is incredible. I am floored. I am sat and I am floored. I kind of just want to end this video now because nothing I can do, say, or what is... Oh, Nick, please. That was incredible. I forgot what you said. I forgot what you said besides that everyone should be shaking in their boots. I 100% agree, Nick. Holy crap. Thank you so much for calling in. And you can... I'll give you a mobile number. You can call in anytime if you're going to pull those shenanigans, mate. Thank you so much. That made my night. Thank you. Aussie Yank, who I had the pleasure of meeting.
Hey, Swoop. Aussie Yank here. I'm going to start and finish with the positive. That last quarter was just phenomenal.
Yep.
Jacos, he was just out of sight. And I think Coxie had probably one of his best games, if not the best game for us. First half, didn't show up. Fly and the boys will work that out.
Yep.
But that gave me hope, coming from 5 goals down in the third, coming from 40 points down overall and losing by 1 goal.
Yep.
If our kicking had been on point, we would have had it. Anyway, on to Freo next week.
And that's 100% correct. And that's what I've been trying to tell people as well. This game, yes, it says a lot about the Suns, and people are talking about, oh, this is such a mature performance, and the old Suns would have lost. And okay, I understand that. I get that. But I reckon this says a lot about us playing a quarter and a half of football, coming back, like you said, from 40 points down, leading in the last 10 minutes or whatever it was when Jamie kicked that goal, and not kicking a goal for over an hour, and to come back from that is absolutely incredible. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Imagine what it looks like when we play 4 quarters of football, hopefully against Fremantle. All right, another one of my favourites to call up. Trace, how you going?
Hi, Luke. Tracy here. Obviously, just as disappointed as every other Collingwood supporter is with tonight's game. We obviously had a very slow start. We just never looked up to it in the first half. Think we should have activated the sub in Pendlebury a lot earlier than what we did. We were clearly struggling through the midfield. That row absolutely smashed us, I think, in that first quarter and a half. But look, I'm trying to stay really positive about this. There's a reason that we're on top of the ladder and we're a game and a half clear. You know, we essentially played a quarter and a half of football and almost won. So I think that's a true definition and a true example of how good we are when we actually play our best footy, which we all know that anyways. Josh Dacos, that move into the midfield in the last quarter, we know how good he is. I think we've spoken about it before, Luke. He's an absolute ripper. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, just trying to stay really positive. You know, we've got players missing. We know how good we can be. We know how good we are. You know, we just got to roll with it and press the reset button and go again. We're getting closer to September, so try and find some more momentum again with players coming back. But it is what it is. We'll take the loss and we move on. Go Pies.
That's it. And before we sort of delve a little bit more into that, Sophie, shout out, hello. Hope you're enjoying the video. But yeah, you're 100% right. Like again, that quarter and a half of football, and if we can just get that momentum right, we got a big month and a half coming up, and it is going to be. We're playing chess right now. We've qualified for finals. We need to win at least, you would think, 3 games to secure top 2. I don't care if we finish first. I don't care if we finish second. I just care if we play a home game at the MCG. I don't want to leave this state of Victoria when we're playing finals. Give me all the MCG leading up to a grand final if we're lucky enough to make it. But Josh Dacos, we have unlocked something absolutely incredible, and this is why we pick up Dan Houston to play that role. Josh Dacos goes into the middle, but you're right about Scott Pendlebury. Probably could have been, pulled in, in that second quarter, because, like, I'm sure it's got something to do with looking into, the GPS and all this sort of data that they've got there, and high performance and stuff like that. But if we needed him, we needed him, and probably should have came on for someone like maybe a Sullivan and move some pieces around, or some, just had to try something. And albeit it nearly worked. It nearly worked, but it wasn't to be. All right, Ben, lucky last.
Kia ora, Luke.
Kia ora, Ben.
There you go, bro.
Good, mate.
Hope you're going well. Hope you enjoyed the GC.
I did.
You know the drill. Saw the first half. Thought the highlights in the morning.
Yep.
I can't think what the heck was that. Their first half was so bad. I don't know. It's like, is this Collingwood? Is this, like, what am I watching here? Like, I imagine, like, how you felt being at the game, but credit to Gold Coast. They're a good team. It's their time to shine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good second half. Like, the second half seemed promising, and it showed the Collingwood that we know, like, they never give up, take the game on, use the minutes possible, and yeah. So to lose by a kick, frustrating, but at least we give it a shot.
Yeah.
And that's all I can really say. Onwards and upwards. I think it's Freo next week.
Yep.
So hopefully that's a good one. Go Pies, baby.
Ben, I forget that you can only watch the half of football before you have to go to sleep to start work early. And for those who are new to maybe this video, Ben is from New Zealand, so it's a different sort of time that is obviously watching it, classic time zones. So to go to sleep after that half, you would have been thinking, we're going to lose by 100 points. When are we going to score a goal? That's insane to wake up to that result. Then we nearly win by a kick. Your mind's probably going every which way when you sort of wake up. But yeah, like you said, mate, we just got to move on to Fremantle. And what I loved about all the callers in, no one was super frustrated or just frustrated in general. Everyone was okay with our fate, and pretty chill about it, and that's what we love on Magpie Talkback Radio. I'm sorry that this went out a little bit late. I am trying to turn these out really quick, but being on the Gold Coast was a little bit different with like my videos and stuff like that. But the schedule is Swooping Around comes the day after, Talkback Radio comes the next day of the game. So if the game's on Friday, I plan to get Talkback out on Sunday, just so I can give people 24 hours to call. But usually the calls happen within 12 hours or so, and no one really calls again. But that's okay, because it's a little community, and I love everyone that calls in. So thank you so much. I'll see you on the next Talkback. Ciao.